Hello, my name is Mike, and this is the Bored Cyborg. Welcome back to yet another episode of Movie Poster Comparisons, where I compare movie posters from all over the world. And I usually pick a specific genre and a specific decade to explore. Today, of course, in honor of October, my favorite month of the year, we are looking at 80s horror posters. Now, I picked 5 80s horror films, some of the biggest 80s horror films from the decade, and we're going to compare and contrast all the posters that I could find from different countries throughout the world. I love playing art critic every once in a while and really looking at these posters in depth, because we see movie posters all the time and we're like, oh, that's really cool, but not very often do we look at all of the detail and the composition and what makes it special, what makes it affect us. So, let's jump right in. I'd love to know what your favorite poster from the 80s is. It could be from any country, any movie, but it has to stick to horror and stick to the 80s. That would be cool. Feel free to leave those down in the comments below and we'll get a little discussion rolling. The way I do it is have this little stand here, and I put my phone right here so that I could flip through the posters on my iPhone, and I'll put the posters here so that you all could see them and I'll talk about them as I go. So, we're gonna jump right in to the first movie, and that is The Fly. Now, I had to talk about The Fly despite its posters not really being too creative throughout the world. So what we're looking at here is the US poster. It's great. It's minimalistic. It's simple. You have the fly, a giant fly leg coming out, and Goldblum's arm sort of coming out of the teleportation device. Be afraid, be very afraid. Little tagline. It's got all the credits at the bottom, which are really hard to see because it's like a dark green font on a black background, but whatevs. I love the font. I love the look of this poster. It's very atmospheric. I dig it. The problem is, here we have the German poster. Very similar, but they did choose to do white text on black background, so that's good. I'm not even going to attempt screw it. Der erste Albtraum einer neuen Generation. I butchered that. I am terrible at German pronunciation. Ein David Cronenberg Film, Die Flieg. Either way, this is the German poster. Moving on. This is the Japanese poster. The same exact image. The fly text is a little bit bigger. It's got the Japanese font underneath. And I see it does have a little fly in between the and fly, and it says, I just noticed this. This is hilarious. It says, "Help me! Please help me!" That's from the original film from the 50s. The end of the film. Spoilers. That is so funny. So the other posters actually don't have the little fly in the middle of the and fly. That makes the Japanese one the winner so far. And then we have the French poster. The same image. La Mouche. Un film de David Cronenberg. La Mouche. It's the same image, so there's not really much to say. Now, Alright, let's just move on. I'm not even going to say anything. Next up, we have the Hungarian poster. At least I believe it is the Hungarian poster. Again, if I get any of these wrong, please correct me in the comments below. I did as much research as I could to find out exactly where these posters came from. Obviously, I put the language into Google Translate and it tells me where they're from. This one is at least different. It's definitely hand-drawn. It's got a different feel to it. It's got the eyes that are sort of it's kind of funny. It's got the eyes, of course, and then it has the teleportation device, which kind of is like the nose. It's kind of ridiculous, actually, now that I'm looking at it. It's okay. The colors are kind of drab, pastel sort of colors. I don't know. It's okay. Not the best. I still prefer the images from the previous 4. And last, but certainly not least, this might have to be my favorite because it is so damn absurd. This is the Polish poster. I can't. Look at this. This is ridiculous. It's got the image of Jeff Goldblum, like, I cannot describe this. Look at this. It's like line art or something. It's like very 80s digital art. It's got Jeff Goldblum with 5 o'clock shadow vomiting, not even on food to break it up like flies do, but just vomiting on a red floor, red background, and could we talk about the design of the Fly Jeff Goldblum character here? What in God's good name is going on here? I can't... It's got like little hairs on the back. It's just so funny. I have no critique of this. I love it. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. What were they thinking, to quote the Angry Video Game Nerd? Look at it. We're just gonna sit in silence for a second. Yeah. What do you guys think about this poster? What the hell? That's going to do it for the Fly posters. Moving on to the next movie. So The Fly is one of my favorite films of all time, and so is The Shining. This is the US poster, which I always was confused by. It's got an image of, I guess, what is Danny? I mean, it looks like a kid, I suppose. It's got a yellow background, very ugly yellow background. It's got this weird digitized face in the T of the and going into the H and the E. The Shining. I never understood this poster. It's a very weird poster. I'm not a big fan of it. Let's go to the next one. Now, here's an American one. I believe this is the international or American poster, like American B poster. This one is better, despite it being a little bit weird in terms of composition, because you have here's Johnny, and then you have the axe coming through. So it's like, how is he? It doesn't make sense, like visually, when you know what the movie is about. Like, how is he hitting the door with the axe and has his face through? It doesn't make any sense. It's out of order. It's anachronistic. It doesn't matter. It's okay though. It tells you what you need to know, despite it being a bit of a spoiler, of course. Jack Nicholson goes mad. Shelley Duvall is in the bathroom, cooped up with a knife, freaking the hell out. One of my favorite films of all time here. I love this movie, but this poster, The tide of terror that swept America is here. Okay, so that must be... It's an international poster, maybe the UK? Not exactly sure, but this is better than the American one, the yellow one. I mean, the yellow one just does nothing for me. Next, we have the same image from Spain. La ola de terror que barrio América está aquí. El resplandor. El resplandor. The Shining. So this one, same exact image. I really need to practice my Spanish. I'm so out of practice. I forgive me, mask media. This one, same image, not really much to say. We have the Japanese poster, the same image as the international one, or the UK one, and the Spanish one. But it looks cooler because of the Japanese characters. So, there you go. That's the winner so far. Now, this one, I believe, is from the UK. The tide of terror that swept America is here. It could be the UK, it could be Australia, it could be New Zealand, any English-speaking countries, I would imagine. This one's cool. It shows both sides of Jack Nicholson, even though both are kind of mad in their own way. The image on, the right side of the poster is from the ending, of course. It's from the end when he's frozen. The left side is just him, like, laughing maniacally. I like it, though. It's like a torn picture. It kind of works. The Shining, it's very stylized. This is my favorite so far. I really like this poster. I like the color scheme. It somehow works, the red and yellow with the blue somber tones. It's sort of like the cold and the warm together. I like it. It says Creatures of the Night for some reason on the top left, but okay. At the Hyde Park Picture House. Okay, I wonder where the Hyde Park Picture House. Maybe that's in the UK. My UK viewers may know if this is a UK poster. Moving on. Whoa. Wow. I love Poland's posters. Poland is incredible when it comes to the artwork. This is the Polish poster for The Shining, and it's got Shelley Duvall's character screaming with a gaping mouth and widened eyes and very stylized and a very chaotic kind of art style. I love it. I mean, her mouth is just a gaping abyss, and you could tell it's Shelley Duvall, and she's just screaming. It's got these little lines. She looks like a porcupine or something, but that's just to express like the terror and the awe, I would imagine. The Shining over the top. The composition is so odd, but it works. I love this one. It really captures the manic performance of Shelley Duvall in the film, which is just one of the most remarkable performances ever, really. And we all know what torture Stanley Kubrick unfortunately put her through to get the performance out of her. But, Jesus, we're not going to go into that. But this is crazy. I love the art style here. It's very cool. It's chaotic. It's scary, too. It's actually scary. So that is the Poland The Shining poster. And that's going to do it for The Shining. Next up, we have The Thing, my favorite horror film of all time, my favorite film of all time, depending on the day. I have, a good 10 that I sort of interchange, of course. This is the classic US poster. I love it. I love the poster. It's got a man in a snowsuit with the shining light coming from his face and sort of a prismed background with the ice and the snow. It's cold. It really evokes the feeling and the atmosphere of the film. Classic poster. I love it. It is very cool. It's also reminiscent of the original The Thing from Another World, where the scene where James Arness, The Thing, busts through the door and it's sort of like him imposing. That's where I think the image comes from, because we don't really get an image like this in the film. Maybe the character, I'm forgetting his name, the bald-headed guy with the sideburns that gets it and he gets torched by Kurt Russell in the middle of the film. It's sort of one of the big scenes of the film, and he's shrieking. It may be sort of from that, but either way, the US poster is classic. I love the classic poster, the ultimate in alien terror. Hell yeah. This one is from France, and it's very different. It's very unique, so I commend it for that. It's got 3 of the characters on a snowy plain, sort of traveling, walking, and I love that. I love the composition here, and then you have The Thing, and some text, of course, and then you have just this almost amorphous, indistinguishable, red, goopy, tendon-laden creature, of course, The Thing, and it's indeterminable what it is, and that really adds to sort of the horror of this poster, and I really dig it. I like what the French did with this poster and differentiating it from the original US poster. So different color scheme and everything. It's got more of a warm, it's got the red and the white, which is a really good dichotomy. I dig it. This is the French poster. I like it. Then we have the same image from the American poster on this Japanese poster, which is a little bit busy, but it's the same image, so you can't really say it's bad. I just wish it was a little less busy. That's like my only complaint with the Japanese posters that I've talked about up to this point, is sometimes it gets a little busy with the characters, with the words, with the font. This one is one of those cases. I mean, it has a whole bunch of font within the body of the character on the front there, but it does look cool with all the Japanese text. I like it, but it's just a little bit busy. Now, there we go. Now we're talking. This poster is incredible. This is one of my favorite posters that I've talked about in this series up to this point. What I love about this is a Japanese poster, obviously here. The preferable Japanese poster, in my opinion. You have the world, which already gives it a cosmic scope, an existential scope. You've got a crack in the world, which is just impending doom and foreboding. Because the end of this film, you don't know how it's going to end. It's either the world it's a wrap for the world, or these guys did get rid of the Thing. This alludes to the fact that the Thing has its tendrils all over the world and all over these characters, which are represented in these little boxes here. I love the crack in the world. You have the creature coming out indistinguishable, a lot like the French picture. Actually, it's the same French image there, which is interesting. It's just smaller and composed better, or composed within this crack in the world. And you have the tendrils coming out all over. Oh man, it is so cool. And then underneath that you have the base out in the distance and the snowy plain. The composition here is unmatched. This is my favorite poster of all the ones I've looked at so far. Definitely of the Thing. You have Kurt Russell flaming. You have the helicopter. You have all the characters there. Every single one. And the Japanese font with the red color. It's just perfect. This is an awesome poster. I want this framed on my wall. I love this one. Next up, we have the Slovenian poster. I believe this is a Slovenian poster. I've not talked about any of their posters in this series up to this point. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Again, please correct me. I typed Stvor into Google in English and translate it to English, and it says it's Slovenian. So I believe this is a Slovenian poster. This one's really cool. It's actually got a similar image to the French one with the 3 whited out characters sort of traversing the snowy landscape. Something that's kind of cool is the explosion from the helicopter, which is blacked out at the top there, top left. The explosion, the grenades they're dropping, sort of coincides with the flamethrower of the lead character there. So it's a visual double entendre, right? It's the grenade being dropped by the helicopter and the flamethrower by the lead character there, which doesn't appear to be, maybe it's Knowles. It doesn't appear to be Kurt Russell's character, McCready. Either way, Stavor, The Thing, Slovenian Poster. I love the cold, moody blues here. It's very different than all the other posters. I commend it for that. It's got tons of atmosphere. It's got that existential, or that isolation, I should say. I dig it. I like this poster, the Slovenian Poster. Again, if it's not from Slovenia, please correct me. I did my best. I really did. Next up, this one is totally normal. It fell from the sky and lay buried in ice for 100,000 years. Soon it will be free and become one of us. I love that. That's great. This is from Ghana. Ghana does some incredible posters. Their art style is so unique, and this is why I love doing this. It's not necessarily great, but it stands out. It is distinct. No question about it. Now, let's talk about some of the images here. So you have a similar image to the American poster with the character sort of blacked out with the rays of light coming from his face. But in this case, you have a monster, a very Frankenstein-looking monster. Actually, it does look like some parts of the film where we see the Thing's face. It looks a lot like that. Now, you have the Thing in red font with dripping, it's dripping blood. Very cool. You have the Thing in his left hand holding a head of a character that I cannot place. He's missing an eye for some reason. I don't know who that is. I don't remember any decapitations in the movie. I have seen the movie 100 times, and I don't remember that. You have McCready with one of the strangest guns I've ever seen. It's like a sawed-off shotgun with a scope. It's like a pistol blunderbuss shotgun rifle. I'm not a gun guy. I have no idea. It looks ridiculous. And then you have McCready, who looks okay. The likeness is okay. I mean, if I had never seen The Thing and I didn't know Kurt Russell was in it, I wouldn't know who that is, I will say. And then the most baffling thing about this poster is in the Thing's right hand, or the creature in the center's right hand, is a character, definitely not from the movie in terms of its head, and then it has the body of a dog. Okay, so they're probably going for the fact that the dog, is the initial thing that comes to the camp and everything, but we never see the body of the dog with a human head. However, we do see that image in Invasion of the Body Snatchers 78. Which, I don't know if they were confused, if they were inspired by that scene. You know that really weird scene in the Invasion movie from the 70s? Where you have the head of a human and a dog sort of runs up to the main character. And it's just one of those scenes where you're like, what in God's name? The aliens f***ed up their replication process. That is what that image reminds me of. I'm pretty sure that the artist was inspired by that image, but we never get that image in The Thing, so okay, this poster is crazy. The Ghanese poster, awesome. This one is from Thailand, and I love the Thailand posters, man. They do such a great job. The composition here is great. It's got actually the image from the US poster and the French poster sort of in the body of the image from the US poster. We'll just call it The Thing, with the glaring face, the sun for a face, the light. You've got images from the film. You've got McCready with the flamethrower and the dynamite. Great composition. You've got the dog creature. You've got the helicopter over there. You got tendrils sort of coming out of the images and everything. It's like you could hear them snapping and slimy, just the slimy sound effects. I love it. And the cicadas, of course, that John Carpenter infused into those scenes. Thailand always delivers. This poster is awesome. The way they incorporate just every color of the rainbow into their posters is just so impressive. I love this poster. Thailand does it again. And last but not least, I believe this is last. Yes, Das Ding. This is the German poster of The Thing. Pretty lackluster, right? It's got the same French image. Of course, I don't know who borrowed the image from who. We're just going to call it the French image because that's what I showed first. That red amorphous, indistinguishable sort of image of the thing. You've got MacReady in a weird pose. He's sort of like hunched over. It's a very unnatural looking pose. It's very underwhelming. It doesn't make him look too cool or badass, which we know he is, the epitome of badass. He's got the flamethrower, but he's not using it. He's got like a frightened look on his face and the dynamite in his hand. It's a weird poster. It's definitely not my favorite. My favorite by far, the Japanese B poster. The one with the world and the crack and all the characters and the tendrils. Oh, that poster is so badass. Moving on to the next movie. This is going to be a short one. Ghostbusters. I couldn't find many Ghostbusters posters, which is interesting. You would think for a film that was as big as the Ghostbusters, it would have had posters all around the world, but it didn't. I found a few, so we're going to look at the American poster here, which is, of course, classic. It's got the iconic image of the ghost and the forbidden sign, the no sign, you know, and it's, you know, it's a classic image. You love it. They're here to save the world. You've got the 3 Ghostbusters, which is always a problem to me. Where the hell is Winston? Are they racist? What's up with this? It's like, why isn't Winston there? Ghostbusters, classic poster on, like, I never noticed it's on like a highway too. They're in like the middle of a highway with the foreboding atmosphere of the sky, which we do get in the film, like the rolling clouds. I love it. My main issue is that Winston is not on the poster. What's up with that, man? Anyway, next up we have the Thai poster again. Incredible composition, incredible color. Again, every color of the rainbow is represented here. You've got a very Corman-esque shot of the apartment building that is the conductor for Zool to wreak havoc, whatever, the crazy story that Ghostbusters has. You have Gozer herself, asexual being, it seems. You've got all the great images from the film. You've got Slimer, of course. You've even got the ghost with the forbidden sign there. You've got Rick Moranis. You've got Rick Moranis in dog form. You've got all the great images of the film, the broken city street. One problem. There's no Winston anywhere on this poster. What is up with that? That pisses me off to no end. Anyway, Winston is a Ghostbuster, goddammit. Just because he didn't found the Ghostbusters, he's still a damn Ghostbuster. Got me all riled up. Now, he is represented here in a way. If you look on the left side of the poster, they all have their backs turned and they're trying to get Slimer, which never really happens in the film, but that's okay. It looks cool. And they're trying to capture Slimer. Winston is represented there some way, in some form, but it's cheap and I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it. To quote Ren and Stimpy, Mr. Horse. Thailand Ghostbusters poster is even better than the US poster, but no Winston still gets a point off in my book. And next up we have this very normal, easy to understand, easy to make out, easy to understand what the artist was trying to represent, Polish poster, which also may be from the Czech Republic. Couldn't exactly differentiate that. I believe it's from the Czech Republic. But yeah, do I really need, it's self-explanatory, right? You have okay, I'm obviously joking. This poster is crazy. It's the most abstract, surrealist, Dali-esque shit I've ever seen on a movie poster. Let's try it. This is what I see, okay? Art is subjective. This is what I see. I see a bunch of buildings, like a city street, like a cityscape, but from the weirdest, most impossible angle. You have this Quetzalcoatl type character or Native American spirit entity type creature. Chimera? What is this? It's got the snout of a... It's got the snout of an elephant. It's got a shower head on the tip of the snout. A starfish thing that I guess is supposed to be a person running away. It's a starfish. It's a starfish. And then you have a giant wooden penis coming out of this profiled character who has a little weird grin. Like, you know? And like these strange eyes and just this crazy hair. This is the craziest shit I've ever seen in a poster. And I've seen some crazy shit. I want to say this is Polish because it's very in line with all the other Polish posters I've talked about, like the Die Hard one and just all the other, the Jaws one. It's just so bizarre. What in God's name? Look at this. Is that a dick? Is that a giant bamboo penis? I have no idea. Is that catching the starfish ghost? I don't know, man. What the hell do you make of this? Please, enlighten me. I definitely see elephant trunk with a shower head snout. Oh my god. This is like things that nightmares are made of. It reminds me of Quetzalcoatl, like Aztec gods, Mayan gods, and just what in good lord. I have nothing else to say. Wow. Is this even a Ghostbusters poster? It is! Moving on to the next film. Alright, last up is a cool one because there's a bunch of these posters. So we're going to start looking at Friday the 13th. I had to include Friday the 13th. Had to include a slasher. Of course, I could have done Nightmare on Elm Street, but there'll be another video for that. I could do 80s horror posters all day. Friday the 13th, US one. You know, we've seen it 1,000 times, but I've never really looked at it in an artistic way. I love the tagline at the top, even though it's a bit long-winded. They were warned, they were doomed, and on Friday the 13th, nothing will save them. Sums it up perfectly, gets all the forebodingness or foreboding nature of the story. Then we have Jason holding a knife, or Jason's mom, spoilers, holding a knife, bloody, dripping into Friday the 13th. The font, the text, I should say. 13, of course, is blood-drenched, which I like because it's like the blood dripping from the knife onto the 13, which is cool. And I've never really noticed how cool this poster is and how artistic it is because you have the form of Jason or Jason's mom, and inside of that you have his domain, her domain, their domain. And God, it's just so atmospheric. You have the moon, of course, you have the cabin, you have the woods, the fog. It's his world that we're entering, right? These kids go to this camp. Little do they know that they're entering the world of this killer. And this poster really captures that so damn well. I've never really thought about it. So that's what I get from this. Classic. I love this poster. It is so cool to me. Next up we have, I guess, the UK. Again, international. Even maybe it's an alternative US poster. This one is interesting. It's got... Alright, so the composition is weird. You'll wish it were only a nightmare. Friday the 13th. The font is not as iconic as the original US one there. You've got the, all of the credits at the bottom. Now, taking up the brunt of the poster is on the top right. We have a few of the kills represented. We have an axe going through a pillow, which isn't in the film. The closest thing I could think is the Kevin Bacon kill with the what was it? I forget, a needle. I forget what it was that went through his neck. One of the great effects in the film. You have the shadow of, I guess, of Jason's mom, axing the pillow. I guess we're led to believe that somebody is underneath the pillow, and that's why the blood is squirting from the center of it. It looks like a crowbar in the back, or like a tire iron. It's okay. It's not bad. I still love the US one even more. I don't have much to say about this. It's okay. The composition's a little weird. Next up, we have the same image for the French poster here. So there's really not much to say, but I wanted to show it off because this was the poster in France. So I feel the same way I do about the previous one. And last here we have actually the Bosnian poster. I wanted to show this despite it being the same image because I've never shown a poster from Bosnia. So there we go. We have the Bosnian poster, which is the same image. So I don't really have much to say about it. Now we're getting into the good stuff. The Japanese poster. Taking up the top half of the image, we have the very atmospheric, foggy cabin in the woods along the lake. And I really like that image. It's very atmospheric. It really draws you in. It gives you just enough of what the film is going to feel like. Now, you have the same image from the previous three posters in the center, which I like better in this context because it doesn't take up the majority of the image. It's not the majority of the image. I like how the axe is coming out of the frame, which was the same in the other posters, to be fair. But the composition here is better. The Japanese they got it. They got the composition right. Now, the cool thing about this is you have the characters at the bottom in their Jeep. It's hard to make out who is who. Yeah. Okay, yeah, definitely. They're all the characters from the film in the Jeep, And I don't think it's hand-drawn. I think it's an actual image, which is great. And again, the composition and behind them is just darkness. Again, so they're driving into Jason's domain, Jason's mom's domain, I guess. You guys know what I mean. And it really captures the atmosphere of the film. It shows the characters. The composition is great. It sort of looks like a tree, actually. So you have the characters, and then you have that center rectangular image, and then the trees blossoming for the top. So it's like the other two images, the characters and the center image, are the trunk. This is what I'm seeing. I really like it. And then it blossoms into a tree. Excellent. Friday the 13th, Japanese poster. My favorite. It's close to the original American poster. Either this one or the original American one. Next up, we have the German poster, which is very different, so I give it that, but I don't like it. I don't think it tells us enough about the film. You have very poorly drawn. I hate the font. I hate just the style of this. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. It tells me nothing. It just looks like a generic horror movie. So it's okay. It's not my favorite. It's probably my least favorite up to this point, but I had to show it because it's at least distinct and unique. Next up, Thailand does it again. Look at this poster. I mean, the borrowing images from the Japan poster, but you have more of the lake, which is nice. So it really shows us Camp Crystal Lake, the atmospheric cabin in the woods with the lake. And then you have the image from the previous posters I've talked about, but without that stupid rectangular prison. In this case, it's just an image floating in the middle of the lake, which I like more, even though the image doesn't really tell me too much. I like it better in this context. And then, in great composition around that center image, you have scenes from the film. You have a lot of the deaths, actually, which is great. You have the axe to the head, you have the arrow to the eye, you have you have the needle in the neck, it looks like, and then a long-ass rifle, of course, there. And I like this poster quite a bit. Again, all of the colors of the rainbow, they got the whole spectrum here. It's amazing how they do that, and it doesn't look garish it's not too obvious that they were trying to incorporate all the colors. It just flows really well. It's fluid, and I love it. It's never garish in the Thailand posters. I really dig the Thailand poster. This one's up there too. It's tied with the Japanese poster and the US one. I love it. And now, the last four here, I had to show these, despite them not being from the original Friday the 13th movie. These are Ghanese posters. The next four to round out this video are Ghanese posters from Ghana. So they didn't have one for the original Friday the 13th. I think this one, based on the imagery, this one is from Jason Goes to Hell. But look at how cool this is and how unique it is. Jason, definitely Kane Hodder Jason, looks gigantic. He's got a weird, brain, slicked back brain colored hair. It's weird. It's not hair, obviously, it's flesh, but you have a sword going through his heart. You have him with a spade of some sort that looks more dangerous than any spade I've ever seen. You have this creature coming out of this guy's neck. Now, I've only seen Jason Goes to Hell once, so was there a creature coming out of a guy's neck in that movie? I vaguely remember that, but I'm not exactly sure. Then you have an image of a woman with a knife going to stab Jason. It's not very good, right? But it's unique and distinct, and I love the Ghanese posters because when I see a Ghanese poster now, I'm like, I know that's from Ghana. When I see posters like this, it's as if all the artists, it's as if all these were done by the same artist. Maybe they were. Maybe it's just the art style of the culture. I don't know. Still, very cool. I'm not crazy about the art style, but I love how unique it is and how different it is than everything else. It's very distinct. Next up, you have Friday the 13th, The New Blood, which is part 7, I want to say. The New Blood, isn't that the one with the telekinetic powers? Now, I've only seen that film once, or twice, I gotta be honest, and I don't remember that weapon. That weapon that Jason has is crazy. It's like a weed whacker on crack. And then there's an axe he's holding as well. It's so crazy. Are these images even from that film? Some of the images, I think, the person hanging is from part 2 or 3. There's a woman cut in half. I just don't think many of these images are from the film. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I've only seen that film. I saw it once when I was a kid, and then once last year. And I do actually really like the film, despite its absurdity. But these images don't really remind me of the film in any way. But again, the Ghani's posters are so unique. Look at this. It's great. And next up we have Friday the 13th, Part 89. Part 89. You guys remember that one. That was one of the great ones. The 89th part of Friday the 13th. No, this is... 89 is when Jason Takes Manhattan came out, but this is the same exact image as Jason Goes to Hell. Or what I thought was Jason Goes to Hell. I'm confused. Help me! Help me! I have no idea. Again, I had to show this off because it's just unique. And last but not least, we have... This one's cool. This one's really cool. The final Friday, which I guess is part 4? The final chapter, I guess they're going for here, which is one of my favorites, if not my favorite. You have Jason, without a mask, I guess, just a crazy face and these crazy fangs. You have a shower curtain with water dripping from it, and him piercing the knife through the shower curtain in a very Psycho-esque kind of way. I don't know if he did that in any of the films. You experts out there would know. But he's stabbing through the shower curtain, which I guess is now, the shower curtain is bleeding because there's blood on the end of the knife. Final Friday on the bottom left. A very creepy image of Jason. It's just a goofy picture. I like this one. What can I say? I guess this is from Chapter 4. Not exactly sure. I probably got a lot of this stuff wrong with these Ghanese posters. But the last 4 I showed, like I said, were from Ghana. Awesome. I love finding these Ghanese posters and these obscure posters from these countries that don't often have movie posters. So, very cool. That's going to do it for Friday the 13th. I just want to thank you all for checking out this movie poster comparison video of 80s horror stuff. I picked 5 movies and went over them. I hope you guys enjoyed this. My favorite posters are the Japanese ones. The Thing is just, that is my favorite of all the posters in this video. No doubt about it. I love the second Japanese poster I showed with the world and the tendrils. It's so badass. I'd love to know what your favorite poster is that I talked about today. So feel free to leave that down in the comments below. We can get a little discussion rolling. And please, again, correct me if I got anything wrong, which I'm sure I did. I'm positive I did. But hey, being wrong is an opportunity for learning. So please, enlighten me. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel and want to see more videos like it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, as well as the little bell for notifications. I also have a Patreon and some t-shirts. Links are in the description below. Check it out if you so please. Anyway, guys, I will see you all next time. Bored Cyborg is out. See ya.